Before we get into the serious stuff, I just wanted to go over this report that came from Entertainment Weekly. The View is adding coasters under their mugs after noises caused co-hosts to be blamed, quote, blamed for dropping gas.
Dropping gas.
That's one way to say it. And it was only Whoopi Goldberg that was accused of that. So.
Well, maybe it was a whoopee cushion.
Yeah.
When
your name comes back to haunt you. It's that and the fact that she's also gotten backlash for being anti-Semitic for choosing the last name Goldberg.
Yes. Well, Whoopi Goldberg is hilarious. She just gets to screw up every few weeks, say something really bad, and then like, sorry, just kidding. And
she does have some politically incorrect opinions, but I guess that's just a byproduct of her age.
Yeah, she's old.
Her generation. But yeah, The View is a clown show, and it has something to do with Barbara Walters leaving. Now we see this report from Lisa Ling saying that Barbara Walters, contrary to popular belief, was forced off the show. She did not voluntarily retire from The View.
You get that?
She was forced to quit.
When you get to be that old, you're just gonna die in your chair. Like
How old was she?
She was like in her 80s.
when they made her quit.
She was in like her late 70s.
And like she
80s.
died at 93, but she refused to go on any other programs, and she was just satisfied with just having been on The View.
Well, she built it, so she's like, it's her baby. Like, why?
So how can they even legally force her to quit? I don't know.
I mean,
but
board, like if it's got like a board of directors, if like the network has a board of directors, they can just force her out.
That's about when The View started going massively downhill, though, and I can't help but think like it had something to do with that.
Because there was no Barbara Walters to uncomfortably tell everyone, like, keep asking them questions even though they don't want to answer.
Yeah, I mean, that was her reputation, and then they continued like bringing on one person as the conservative seat on the show, who they just bully routinely. Like, it's just a ritual of humiliation.
And the conservative seat is like, it's not even like a real, like, good conservative, interesting conservative. It is the most...
It's Meghan McCain.
Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah, it's like it's the most Democrat conservative that you can imagine. It's literally a conservative Democrat, which you don't really have nowadays. But 20, 30 years ago, there was actually conservative Democrats.
Maybe that's what I am.
Probably that's what Joe Manchin is.
Maybe. Okay. But now we have people recalling a talk between Drew Barrymore and Brooke Shields that happened last year, where they were commiserating about how uncomfortable Barbara Walters made them at different points when they were younger in their careers, when they didn't have as much leverage or power to pull in a conversation like that. They felt like Barbara Walters took advantage of them. So let's just play this TikTok.
Did Barbara Walters grab them by the P word?
No. To be clear, no.
Here we go.
It wasn't all that advanced.
It's purely emotional manipulation.
Watched this interview that her and I did, and I was in my early 20s, and she would not relent.
Who picked these ladies' glasses, I ask you?
Talk to me about the drugs and alcohol.
It's not good.
Talk to me about your mother. Talk to me about bisexuality. Wow. Talk to me about
Oh, she was doing an interview.
I'm really doing well. And
she asked you hard questions? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh no. We lost internet?
Nope. At least still have the stream. We have to still have the stream.
Is the stream okay?
Stream is still good.
It doesn't look like it is good to me.
Did we lose the stream, guys?
Hi.
She would not relent. And
I
she was like,
I think we're okay.
Talk to me about the drugs and alcohol. Talk to me about your mother. Talk to me about bisexuality. Wow. Talk to me about everything. And I kept saying, Barbara, I'm really doing well. And it was 5, 6, 7 times over.
Keeps stopping right at that part of the
That's
clip.
weird.
So that's about.
I think
we haven't lost the stream, so it's the clip,
that's
not
weird.
the. So basically, and then for the clip,
so Brooke
Shields goes on to talk about how she was made to stand up, and like Barbara Walters like grilled her about her measurements.
Brooke Shields was in the Blue Lagoon as a teenager and totally nude.
She was like,
what are you complaining about with Barbara Walters? Like,
is it playing?
No.
No,
still frozen.
That's weird. Okay.
Why is that a thing for you, Brooke Shields?
That when Brooke Shields was 15 in 1981, she had an interview with Barbara Walters, and Barbara Walters asked her what her measurements were and asked her to stand up. She said, and I stand up, and she's comparing herself to this little girl, and I thought, this isn't right. I don't understand what this is. But I behaved and just smiled and felt so taken advantage of in so many ways.
Yeah.
And
By
she said,
Barbara Walters? Barbara Walters was not trying to have sex with you.
She's like a foot taller than Barbara Walters, too.
She's saying it's weird to focus on the body of a minor.
In 81?
In 1981.
It was not weird.
I don't believe she thought this at all in 1981.
She was thought of as an adult.
Yes. Well, but I'm saying I think that she didn't start to think this until Drew Barrymore told her to
Nobody
start
started thinking this until 2020.
Yep.
This never crossed. Maybe when Me Too started, they started thinking of this, but that had to be after like all the serious accusations came out.
I don't think
and then they're like, well, maybe I can go ahead and tag myself to that Me Too stuff and get some attention.
I don't think that misconduct needs to be sexual to be misconduct,
Misconduct, but that doesn't mean that it's so. She is making the argument that it's sexual misconduct.
No.
You don't feel like that's what the argument she's making?
No, I don't think so. I think she felt like Barbara Walters shouldn't have been comparing herself as an adult woman to her as a child still.
Okay.
In their body, the way that their bodies look,
Okay.
Who's more attractive?
I didn't perceive it like that, but again, I didn't hear hear Brooke Shields talking about it. So we're discussing it without the video being able to play.
I felt taken advantage of, which can be interpreted in a lot of different ways, and maybe she shouldn't have phrased it like that.
Maybe. Okay.
And also, I feel like part of the sanctity of life is like respecting the sanctity of death, the permanence of death, and like not talking shit about dead people that much.
That would be great.
I don't know, like
people love to talk to. They don't wait anymore.
You're dredging up all of the bad things that a dead person ever said or did when they don't have the opportunity to defend themselves or to offer context for what happened. And I feel like that might be wrong. Like you're talking shit about a dead person behind the wall of them being dead.
Yeah, because they can't.
So
say anything.
I don't like that aspect of this. And now all of these people are reposting this video of Drew Barrymore and Brooke Shields because of the Pretty Baby documentary that's coming out soon. Or did it already come out? Brooke Shields is
it's out.
Documentary. Yeah. Her documentary Pretty Baby, where it's just talking about her experience like growing up in the limelight and being sexualized from like a prepubescent age. But to lump in Barbara Walters with the people at Playboy who photographed her nude at 8 years old, it's not comparable. Like, it's not the same thing. And maybe you can say Barbara Walters had a small part in contributing to this culture around Brooke Shields, where she was treated like an adult when she wasn't an adult, and that's totally fair to say. But to be posting this and reposting this saying like Barbara Walters needs to pay for her crimes. How is a dead person going to pay for their crimes or ask for forgiveness or apologize for anything they did?
Her estate can donate money to these charities that we've maybe
it's extortionist.
Yeah, it is in a lot of ways.
It is. And Drew Barrymore's complaint has like no weight to it compared to Brooke Shields' complaint.
Yeah.
I mean, as little gravity as Brooke Shields' complaint had, Drew Barrymore was just mad that she was getting interviewed and Barbara Walters was asking questions that she didn't want to answer.
The clip keeps pausing at the exact same part, and then when I fast forward through it, it'll actually play. But
do you want to just play the Brooke Shields part?
Let's just see where it starts here.
Dude, this little girl, and I thought, this isn't right. I don't understand what this is, but I behaved and I just smiled and felt like so taken advantage of. You know, when you've been in the public eye and have been commented all the time.
I wonder if any of the like male actors ever feel this way. The younger male actors. Do you think anything like this happens to them?
Well, Cole Sprouse recently talked about it, and he said that it's just way worse for girls.
Yeah, I mean that's just the fact of life, right? That they're going to.
But I don't know. Like, it's bad for both, obviously.
Yeah. I miss the days when we had journalists that would push and actually get, like, nowadays journalists don't hold celebrities accountable at all. They are on the side of the celebrities.
Well, very rarely.
Yes.
Sometimes you can get journalists. It depends on the venue, I think. But when it comes to journalists talking to journalists or journalists talking to media in the context of just like promoting media, I think you're right.
It's all essentially promotional material, and it's they used to be the ones that would be out being a nuisance to the celebrities. Our last bastion is the amoral paparazzi guy who will get any photograph. That's all we've got left.
Ellen was kind of a dick, right? I know that people reposted a lot of videos of Taylor Swift on Ellen
too.
From when Ellen would, I guess Ellen, made herself into a talk show host after she had been in entertainment, but still, she kept on like bringing up who is Taylor Swift dating every time Taylor Swift was on Ellen. And it's like, you've been on Ellen countless times, you know what's going to happen. Why are you going on the show if you know that she's going to talk about your dating life and you don't want to talk about that?
Yeah.
But there are clips where Taylor Swift is like visibly close to breaking into tears over this. Yeah. And it's like, okay, then don't have a public dating life and don't go to a talk show on which they insist on talking about your dating life. Like, it's as simple as that. Or stop making music about your dating life. Like,
she's like,
your dating life is a matter of public interest. Accept that and move on.
Writing songs about astrophysics is just way harder, so I have to write songs about boys, and then when they ask me questions,
she started making songs about politics, and no one liked that.
You can answer questions like that without getting too specific. The thing is, like with Taylor Swift, like who she's dating, the paparazzi and stuff are going to be looking to find out. So if they find out that she was dating someone and they break up, then there's going to be rumors. Is this new song by Taylor Swift about this guy? Is this new song blah, blah, blah. So that stuff's going to happen. I have dealt with that stuff where it's like, what's this song about? What's this song about? And there are times and certain songs where I'm comfortable discussing it. And there are times where I'm not. And I'm just like, well, it's this. And I just, and I'll be like, well, it's kind of like, this kind of vibe or whatever. And I'll talk about the overall idea general. Without getting specific.
Like, when you go through blah, 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 and then it feels blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Depeche Mode famously doesn't explain any of their songs.
There was a long time where I didn't do that at all.
So, like, they explained the meaning for the song Precious because Precious was at the birth of his son, or his daughter, I don't remember, their child.
Yeah.
And so they explain the meaning to that song, but the rest of them, they leave it open-ended for interpretation.
One of the reasons why I do that is because when you write a song and you put it out for people to consume, the thing that people like about the song is the way the song fits into their life. Mm-hmm. So the words that you're writing, how they interpret them is important to how they feel about the song. So if I go out and I say, well, this song's about this and blah, 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 and I make it really specific, I feel like it's taking away from the listener. Yeah. The listener is the one that takes the song and listens to it all the time and is literally making it possible for me to do this because they enjoy what I create. And so it's like for me to sit there and be like, well, it's about this and da da da. I don't want to take any of the stuff, any of the possible meanings away from a listener ever,
It's like
people are commenting, we want privacy. Yeah. We want privacy.
There's this like TikTok trend or this girl. It's like it's a green screen video and it says like Tony Braxton really had 9-year-old me thinking about divorcing my husband. And she's on a green screen school bus like breaking down to Tony Braxton and see you don't
Carrie Underwood really had 9-year-old me thinking about killing my husband.
Yeah, basically. That's,
Luke E said you guys are the new celebrities. Legacy media is dying and we are all witnessing it firsthand.
That's terrifying.
I don't think I don't know. It's not going to be as binary as that. Like,
nor would I ever want to be any type of like public figure at all. Like, I wouldn't want to be the type of person that has to, when they do these shows, do something where you then have to explain yourself to 9 million people over over the smallest thing.
It's just, if you've introduced something to public interest, then answer for it when the public responds. I mean, the public has the right to respond to something that you introduced that put on the table for discussion, no matter what it is. I find your guys' takes on journalism interesting because Shields literally said it's practically criminal. It is not journalism. She felt that way about being interviewed by Barbara Walters.
Because words don't mean anything anymore.
She said,
mean whatever you want.
I never thought of Barbara Walters in a negative light, nor do I. However, they were just saying like she wasn't really engaging in journalism. She was doing something else, some third mysterious other thing.
It was the 70s. It was a different time.
Or the 80s or whatever. Yeah. It was a different time. I don't think that it was necessarily socially appropriate what she was saying.
It's funny too because if you look at the picture of them together, like Shields looked like she could just squash Barbara Walters.
Well, that photo was from 10 years after the
photo of them. Okay.
The photo of them together is from 10 years after this interview supposedly happened. But she didn't speak out about it before Barbara Walters died. So how are we ever going to know?
We know when they have a book or a movie or a documentary coming out, then they suddenly remember all these stories of these horrible things that happened to them in which they have to then garner public interest again so they can be like, go watch my new documentary on Hulu.
And
that's why I hate these people.
If you watch the documentary about Brooke Shields' life, you'll know that there are far more terrible things to talk about that happened to Brooke Shields than Barbara Walters asking what her measurements were.
I demand that if for some reason some idiot ever decides to make a movie about me, I don't get to go on to some talk show like right before it comes out and be like, and that's when this happened at work.
It's literally in the contracts.
We should start asking celebrities what their measurements are now.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We should start asking those questions.
Only the guys.
That's real journalism.
Not the girls.
Now ask the women their measurements and ask the guys their height.
That's so how tall are you? It's like, have you heard of the 666 rule? Do you qualify?
I mean, the only reason that doesn't compare is because the guys can't change their height. The women can change their measurements.
That's true.
That is true. You can't hold.
Not really fair.
It's not fair to the men of the world who short king. Have you seen that the video where it's like girls like they take a tape measure and they mark 6 feet on the door and they're like giving lie detectors to all the men we meet on Hinge, and then a guy just drops a scale in front of the door and says doing lie detectors to all the women I meet on Hinge.
I mean that is 100% fair.
Yeah.
Well, why is it that you can put your height in a dating app? Like in a field on the dating app, but not your weight.
Well, a lot of them took it out.
Women will get mad.
I mean, there are actually categories you could pick. There are like categories, but not weight.
A lot of them have removed the height thing because women had unrealistic expectations for the height.
Women have entirely unrealistic on those apps.
Yes.
The evidence shows that women that use those apps
like 6'7" people.
Totally
but then look
unridiculous.
At who they date, you know?
They're completely ridiculous. Like that's not, not all women. But women that use those apps have the most unrealistic expectations or hopes. And that's part of the reason why those apps are bad, because it just crushes hopes and dreams.
I'll just say, there are guys with unrealistic expectations too. But if you look at who people date, it's people in their range.
And
yes!
So is this...
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Butt loving. Did you say funky butt loving?
Go on. You were talking about dating.
Phil's.
Yeah, we were saying we were talking about Tinder and how it's bad for women and men.
Well, because a lot of them said that they would put unrealistic heights in there, they wouldn't date a guy shorter than 6'5".
Women have unrealistic expectations a lot when it comes to dating apps and stuff like that. It seems like, I guess there was a study, and I don't have a link or anything, but there was a study that said that guys kind of are when they decide they're ready to settle down, whoever they're with is okay, you're good. It's that's it.
Fantastic. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, whereas women are I need the guy to do this, and I need that, and I need this, and da-da-da. And guys
the guy reaches an arbitrary state of readiness.
He's
the funny thing is, there's a Chris Rock set that he talks about that says the opposite of that. He says women are always ready to settle down. Men never want to settle down.
But they're not always. Well, first of all,
this was in the 90s.
First of all, Chris Rock's experience is not typical.
Yeah.
Chris Rock's bank account is way too big to have a typical experience. But
this was in 96, so this is I don't know what his bank account was in 96, but he basically says he's like actually no, it kind of comes to the same conclusion. He goes, women are always ready to settle down, and then he's like, women go on two good dates, and they're like, what the hell are you waiting for? And then he's like, finally, guys don't want to settle down. They surrender. He's like, fine, all right, I'll marry you. Damn. Just tell me the day before, I'll be there.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think Chris has got his finger on the pulse of today with that. Maybe that was that way in the 90s.
Was in the 90s. It was like the late 90s.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way that it is now.
Things have changed.
Yeah, I do think so.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Reversed. The roles of reverse.
Maybe.
I mean, I think the like incalculable damage has been done by dating apps.
I think everyone is non-committal now.
Yeah, like you always, it's like the story goes. Back in the day, the guy just had to compete with like 3 other dudes in his class in his town. Now he's got to basically battle with everyone within a 25-mile radius that she can drive a car to on a regular basis without being late for work the next day. You're struggling, right? Like, and a lot of those guys are going to be older, have more resources, have more to offer right now, whereas he's just like, I would like to take you out once a week without defaulting on my student loans. And that's not easy for a lot of younger guys. And so because women peak younger because they're at their most beautiful and their most advantageous to society at a younger age, fertility and all, and men grow into capital and wealth and resources, all the things that make men attractive. It's kind of a rigged game now.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, society needs to tell dudes to, like, even though they're at their most like girl crazy in their 20s, that's the time when you go out and you build your life.
Focus on
so
you.
That way, when you're, almost 30 or whatever, you can pull a 23-year-old girl and you'll have your life set up. You'll have money, or you'll at least have a career or whatever, and then you can have kids and be normal. Yep. But if you're trying to, if you're screwing around when in your 20s, and you're not doing things and you're just chasing after whatever girls that will allow you to smash, you're going to end up knocking her up, and then you're going to end up with a woman that you don't like, or having a kid with a baby mama that you don't like and stuff. Focus on yourself and make yourself as much of a badass as you can be in whatever it is that you like to do.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.